Fear is the enemy. Whatever it is that you're going for, man, go hard. Hold on, never give up. You gotta have that mentality, man. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up, and you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. And that's word to my mom, word to my pops, word to my little bro. They said make your mistakes, but don't make excuses on why you can't live and learn. On a couple occasions I damn near went broke. I'm chasing this music thing, and I ran out of hope. I threw in the towel, said fuck the hole in the street. I kept on writing and touring. I picked up a job cause I knew it was important. The money I made, I would stash it away just to fund my recordings. And I didn't wanna stop cause I didn't know how. I would lay in my room by myself late at night, and I finally figured it out. I just wanna be the best version of me, make all the music that I wanna make. I don't care what nobody gon' say. You miss all of the shots you don't take. And the answer is no, if you don't ask. If it gets hard, this too shall pass. God is my witness and he got the plan. He got the plan. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up, and you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. Yeah. Remember, man, you only in competition with yourself. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Pleasure and pain. R.I.P. the greatest.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. What's going down, y'all? It's your buddy DH. We are here. We have made it. Thank you all so much for being here for our last. This is our last episode of the 23 Days Until Christmas marathon. I am so thankful for everyone that has come and shared their thoughts, their truth, their storylines, and everything that we have been blessed to be a part of during this journey as we get closer to the holiday. First off, I just want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors. Thank you all so much for everything that you guys have done to continue to support me and support Circle Talk, iShotya.com, Icon ENT, the Chaya Movement, the Chaya Fashion, and last but not least, huge shout out to Intentions Juice and Smoothies Bar. Thank you all so much. You guys have been an amazing plethora of amazing people doing amazing things in our community, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. A couple of quick announcements before we bring in our guest for today. First off, I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow we're doing the Circle Talk Awards. For anyone that is interested in and being a part of that. I'm really excited to give out some gifts, some flowers to so many amazing pillars in this community and the community surrounding, in the form of a little award that I came up with for for all the great things that I've seen and others have seen happen in this year, 2023. There's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but we are still pushing. We are still striving to be the best that we can be. And, there are so many pillars quiet pillars that continue to make amazing moves, and we're gonna acknowledge those tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with the Circle Talk Words. Next, I want to just say this one more time to you guys. Um, this world is a struggle. Mental health is real. And we have to continue to reach out to one another. There's a lot of people that are going through some hardships. Today, I was truly blessed um, when I woke up this morning, and the first thing that I seen was one of my good friends, my brother Alex Davis, out in these streets passing out gifts, free gifts for kids and families that needed presents. Um, I was in a position where I was there and I didn't have anything. And to watch this brother do his thing, I want to give him a huge shout out. I seen you guys working today. I drove by there and I picked up a couple things for a family that was in need, and went and dropped them off to that particular family. We just got to continue to love each other, continue to work. If you have the means, make sure you guys try and support somebody that you may know in your community that really could use a little bit of assistance or support or even a bite to eat, something. We got to continue to love each other, because there's a lot of people that are stressed, that are going through this mental health fight, and using different types of substances to deal with it. Sometimes a simple "how are you doing" will change somebody's life. So let's continue to do that moving forward. So I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. I know you guys have been anticipating this interview. My guy, Jamila Jones, is in the building. And before I bring him on, I just want you guys to know, like, I've known this brother for a long, long time. I think we probably met on the streets of the Hilltop. Then we played ball a few times. I mean, he was pretty good, but I think I was better at that time back in the day. We'll talk about that. He's coached my cousin or my nephew. Now he's over at Lincoln doing his thing. He's a huge mentor to his kids and the community. And when I ask people, who do you think deserve an award for his work that he is doing with these kids, his name came up numerous times. So I knew this had to happen. So without further ado, we're going to bring in the man of the hour, JJ Jamila Jones.
Man, what an intro. First of all, I was a scrub back then. I grew up with some real hoopers.
Yes, you did.
I grew up with some real hoopers, man.
Absolutely, bro. I remember back in the day. You was a lot
got some
shorter than me back
dogs.
then.
Yeah,
Back then, you was a lot shorter than me. Now you're a lot taller than me.
I grew a little bit, but yeah, I grew up with some dudes who can go, man.
Yeah.
So some legends.
Shout out to the Hilltop family. I mean, there's plenty of us that grew up in the 90s and 2000s that remember the hooping days. That was something that we all did when all that craziness was going on in our streets, bro. Like, that was something that we relied on. People Center, Al Davies, the YMCA. I mean, those were our spots to get us off of those streets.
Facts. I couldn't get into the Y. I was a People Center Al Davies kid.
You never went to late night?
I did. I made it to late nights.
Stop it.
But other than that was it, man. But Mr. Joyce, Waddell, and them Brett, changed my life.
Absolutely. So let's do this. I want to give you a proper intro. So thank you so much, man. First off, for taking this time last minute and making this happen. Like I was telling people earlier, like the person that was supposed to be here today, unfortunately, they were going through some mental health struggles, and they could not be here due to a death in their family. And so, I just wanted to, just let you guys know. I appreciate my guy. Last minute, he's literally got things going on. He's at a party today. Then now he has to go to his son's basketball game, but he said he would make this happen. So thank you so much for making this happen, bro. And I appreciate you for being here. I mean,
no doubt.
Obviously. So let's start off. Let's start off by taking it back just quick. Just give him a brief run through of us growing up on the hill and how it was.
I mean, we grew up in the apex of what the Hilltop is truly known for. I'm not never seen many neighborhoods that made CNN, and our neighborhood made CNN. We were national news, and so you know, that was our life, and that's what we had to navigate, and we had choices to make, and that's how I learned life. The one thing that I stand on, when the kids say stand on business, and so one thing that I stand on, I'm a true product of my environment. I mean, I think too many times we use that word as a negative thought. Oh, he grew up on the hilltop, must have been in jail, must have a bunch of kids. It's a deadbeat dad. Absolutely not. None of the above. Right. But I am a true product of my environment. So I grew up in an era where you had to learn really, really fast. You had to be quick on your toes, quick with your thoughts, quick with your brain. So the Hilltop made that for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And so shout out to some of my really good friends, man, we had to navigate that together. My man, young Worthen Rashid, man. And, if you've ever met Rashid, man, you understand the true definition of grit and getting out the mud from the hill. Okay. You had the pictures, man, seeing my guy Turner, Turner, Joe, and Leonard. Yeah. Those were my neighbors. And we walked everywhere together, and there was a reason for that, and so I'm just a true product of my environment, no matter what story somebody else tells or what story the news tells. There's some of us who I'm not going to say made the right decision, but we navigated the right way.
Absolutely. So when you talk about navigating it the right way, and I think I know the answer, but how about you just enlighten the people? What were the things that prevented you? Because I'm sure you had plenty of friends that went and got involved in the gangs and all that stuff. What was one of the biggest things that kept you focused on the positives of just growing up versus the negatives? Because, me and my brother's a year apart, and I went for the positives. My brother, unfortunately, went the opposite way. And so, what was yours? What
I had a few things. First, man, my grandma was from the South. My grandma didn't play. And anybody who's watching this, they know me as Jamila, JJ, or Junebug. Yeah. And every last person knows my grandma. Yeah. And Miss Jones, Grandma Jones, Miss Mert didn't play. Yeah. And so, no matter what kind of freedom I thought I had outside of that house, she had eyes and ears everywhere. Yeah. And so that freedom really didn't exist. And then it was just the right adults. Like I said, man, Mr. Joyce over at the People Center, man, just didn't allow us to be some type of way. And then rest in peace, Miss Carolyn Gore, my other mom. I have a ton of moms that I may mention in this. So if you just hear my mom this, my mom that, I got a bunch of them. It took a true village to get me through, to help me make those decisions. Miss Gore was a huge part of that, man. And being an African drum and dance, and then, playing sports at the People Center, playing Little League football at Al Davies. And, back then, it was truly about the community in youth sports, because I was not a star, man. We had the Elijah Bakers of the world, we had dudes, that could go. So I wasn't a star, but nobody treated us any less, man. We were part of those groups, man. True running rebels. People really know about the running rebels or whatnot. And so I think those people help steer me in the right direction and impact my life, to know that there was a bigger picture outside of the Hilltop in the 90s.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your time in high school and playing basketball and how important it was. I mean, because you said you weren't one of the fastest, or you didn't have the best shot, but talk about that time, kind of being in that environment with those friends and those ballers, and how it helped you to be into coaching afterwards, how it led you into the coaching.
My high school sports experience was just so different. I did sports so that I wouldn't, for lack of better words, I didn't want to die. I didn't want to make the wrong decisions, because I would have hung out with my friends. I understood entrepreneurship. back then. And so sports was just an outlet for me to try to make right decisions, right? And so in doing so, you know, I played high school football and high school basketball. And again, wasn't the most talented. Nobody would ever say that on any team that I ever played on that they worked harder, that were more committed to their teammates. So I kind of learned loyalty from that. I learned, you know, like my part was valuable to the team, you know. Playing here, I get David the ball, get Gary the ball. You know, like that's what we were supposed to do, man. I locked down people. So my man Gary and David and these guys, and they were getting the shots, right? And so, but it was just a different aspect. You know, I had a few different coaches. I came to Lincoln just because I met a guy from Young Life named Al Vallette, and his spirit and his just who he was as a person made me want to go to Lincoln. I grew up on the hilltop. I was supposed to go to stadium, right? My friends were going to stadium or Foss, you know, and Al Vallette's kind of spirit kind of got me here. And then he didn't even coach. I was like, this guy. But then another dope coach, my man, Coach Chambers, was here when I got here. And so meeting Coach Chambers, seeing another Black man who had a positive impact was the start of me wanting to coach. And then, you know, I wouldn't say I had the best relationships with other coaches here. Coach Will had a great relationship with. And at the time, you know, our head coach here, I was just like, you know, as a person, you know, we never really vibed. And, you know, and so that reminded me, like, I want to be, you know, to young people what I felt like I missed when I was in high school, you know, and somebody who saw kind of the bigger picture and then our athletes for who they were, not what they could do on the basketball court or on the football field. So, like, you know, my high school journey kind of pushed me to coaching. I didn't know it at the time, you know, but like that was kind of how I feel like I kind of get to give back.
Let's talk about your first coaching job. Talk about how that experience went. Was it a struggle to try and figure out exactly why you were there, what you were doing, you know, the whole nine? Let's talk about the journey, because now you're a totally different person, I'm sure, than when you first started, right?
So here's my coaching journey is. Oh, you got me?
I still got you, bro. You here?
Man, my screen just went black. It's funny. My coaching journey is kind of skewed. It has panned out a lot better than one would think. You know, like I played more football growing up than basketball. But my first coaching opportunity was to coach basketball. And it was just so weird to me. A guy from church was like, hey, come coach my son's team up in Fife. I want you to come coach in the Fife Milton League. I was like, okay, cool. And then it's one of those leagues where they give you a team. And the team is comprised of like a couple good kids and then just a bunch of other people that they put together. Have no idea what I'm doing. But the one thing I'm like, oh, we're going to play D, right? And so you only get one practice a day, like a week. And it was just like, I had no idea. Right. We didn't lose a game though.
That's
like it was like, what? Like we never lost. I was like, oh man, I don't think I'm a good coach. And I'm just like, it's rec league, right? So that was my first coaching experience, Fife Milton League. And that kind of set me on a path and gave me a couple more opportunities that may have not really been warranted because it didn't really show that I could coach. But you know, I could be like, yo, we haven't lost a game in 2 years. You know, you should hire me as your coach. And so that's kind of what jump started me into high school was that Fife Milton League. And shout out to Tom Dale, because again, so many people just gave me a shot, you know, and so Tom Dale up at Fife Milton gave me a shot. And, you know, the rest is kind of history. Aubrey Shelton was like, hey, come coach C-team boys at Lincoln. And I had to really think about that one because I was like, oh, now I really got to coach. This is high school basketball. It's not, you know, and it's in Tacoma. Like the Fife Milton League, if I'm bad out in Fife, nobody knows. Nobody who knows me knows. So like, it wasn't a big deal. coming to the high school level, I was like, like this could be rough.
Mm-hmm.
But we just had success, and I had to work a lot harder to know it, especially coaching C team because, JV and varsity is going to take all the good kids, and then if you have a good kid, they're going to watch a game and like, oh, we're taking him too. Like, and so that was the true learning part is like, man, like you're still expected to coach the team. You're still expected to try to win some games. But at the C team level, my job was to develop the right character, young men for our program. So that's really where I learned and gained a desire to help like our young males strive for greatness, even beyond the basketball court. Because, in my entire time on the boys' side, we always had the highest GPA.
Yeah.
We never had a problem. And by the end of it, man, we always kind of won more games than everybody else. Now, I know it was only C team, but I'm hanging my hat on it. Highest GPA, we won more games than the other teams.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and you just answer it the way that you think feels best. Why do you think someone would say Jamila Jones is the 253 person of the year?
I'm not sure. It's funny because I talk a lot when you get me in a conversation, but I don't. I truly am okay playing the background. And so, like, but I learned this from my man Kitna. I try to live my life to be transformational and not transactional. Mm-hmm. I don't want to just, make deposits and take things away when I come in contact with people or have relationships or in my coaching or in my job. I want to be transformational. I want, I strive to leave a lasting impact, and whether they get it right then and there or 10 years later, where they're like, man, that's what Mr. Jones or Coach Jones was trying to teach me. And like, at the end of the day, my hope is that any person I ever get to like help be in contact with understands that everything I do is out of pure love of giving all that I have. There was time I didn't have money, I didn't have things to give, but I could give of myself. I could pour from my cup. And so anybody that would say that knows, man, I will pour from my cup till I don't have anything left. And if it's my last drop, somebody else will still get it. And so I think that's why they would say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about just tell me, how important is your family?
Man, it's super important. I'm glad, like, I wasn't on screen when you were showing that video, because I was over here balling for that almost entire 3 minutes, seeing not only my wife and my sons, my brother, and I just recently lost my dad, and it's super weird because you don't understand things until you don't have them anymore. Like those who know me know my grandmother raised me, not my mom, not my dad. My grandma raised me, and then the Hilltop community, of course. And then some people from the East Side, like my family extends. But the scariest thing in the world was when I got married and I found out I was having a son, because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what that looked like. And so I had to put a premium on learning how to be a dad and how to be a husband. And if my wife was sitting here, we both agreed, man, I didn't do that very well early on. And so, but I watch what it looks like when two parents don't do it well for their kids. And so like I had to figure it out. And so it's my main thing. And I work with young people, and I want them to know what it looks like for, a wife and a husband to love each other unconditionally, and for family to be number one. And so that is a big deal to me. And I get better. I've been married 13 years now, and, as a dad and a husband, every year I have an opportunity to get better. So that's always kind of my goal, like with any team, man. Like, can you be better than the day you were the day before? So
Absolutely. And I want to say I do apologize or I'm sorry for your loss, I should say, of your father. Um, question, just, when it pertains to your dad, like, is there anything that you can say that you use or you've instilled in your own life that you might have heard from him at some point in your journey?
so I'm yes and no. Like, I didn't meet my dad till I was 18.
Mhm.
Um, and so like, but once I met him, and we didn't have a great relationship. But the crazy thing is, I didn't have a great relationship with either of my parents, but I'm just like both of them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely my mom and my dad's kid. Like, I wish this picture
Hmm.
was like you could see it better. You know,
Yeah.
I smile and my mannerism of my dad are 100% there. But what I got from him is I got to watch him be a granddad,
Mm.
and he was so much doper as a granddad than as a dad.
Mm.
And so, you know, like I was reminded that it's never too late to be better.
Right.
And so that's my deal now. Is just like when you start talking about growth or whatnot, like there's still opportunities for relationships, right? And so me and his window kind of, it didn't close, but it was shutting. But the window for him and my sons and my nieces was wide open, and that was just apparent, man. My son handled it a lot tougher than I did when we learned he passed, and that was just a testament of him building that relationship. And so I think my big thing is just like, man, when you know, do better, and then like continue to grow relationships, even if you think that you don't have the opportunity left to grow them.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, let's say I come into one of your practices and, just to talk to the kids and you step away from the conversation. And I ask the kids, so tell me about your coach. What do you think the kids are going to say about coach?
You coming today? No, no. It's funny because each year, each group is different, man. I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, I believe that our young people is like, man, like coach loves us.
Yeah.
Um, like I never allow them to kind of settle where they are. There's always something greater. And the beauty of high school sports is, man, there's so many different personalities and so many different people. And so, my hope is that, man, they understand that I love and respect all of them, for who they are, not what they provide. And so I guess that was the biggest thing. We just tell them, man, your job is to love each other. Our job is to love you.
Yeah.
And then, everything else will come from that.
Absolutely.
And they would probably say I work tirelessly to support them. Some of them might say I spend more time with them than I do with my family. So, which is it's a close line. So the numbers could be skewed depending on the time of the year.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I know it's getting late. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I know you got to get to your son's game here in a little bit. I got a couple more questions, and then we'll call it an interview for today. But we will get back to it again real soon.
Definitely.
Let's talk about how important it is to support our community, even with what just happened with this whole Manny Ellis decision and whatnot. How important is it for us to stay focused on lifting up this community, even after hearing stuff like this and seeing this stuff continue to happen?
I think it's huge because we've seen what it looks like when we don't support the community. We've seen how it destroys neighborhoods, how it destroys people, how it destroys the work that that people have done before us.
Mhm.
and I think that's why we have to do the work early before moments like this happen. So like the strong voices, Mama Wesley, Miss Candace, and those guys, man, like they do the work early. John Gaines does the work early.
Yes.
And so I think it's also important for those of us who have reach that aren't the outspoken, the vocal ones, the people behind the camera, behind the megaphones, to like stay vigilant in doing the things that we do and that we do well, to make sure that our young people, our Black males, have people that they can reach, just so they can run their thoughts by. I think my greatest attribute is really just to listen.
Yeah.
And then give strong advice or sound advice when I have it, but also being all right, like I don't have an answer for you right now, but we can get one together. Right. And so I just kind of think that people who come from the community, who have the positive things to say, it's important for us to continue to do that. Because I think there's a lot more people that we grew up with who have great things. Yes. And I don't think they say things because they're like, man, I made this decision back when I was, 15 and 16, and doesn't care. We're 40 now.
Yeah.
Right. And so like you lived a life, but like now you have things that will help our young people. And this is like one of those times, man. And we're in a era where, our young people on the hilltop, on the east side, need to hear from people from the hilltop and the east side, regardless of what decision they made then, like how they can be who they can be now. I think it's truly important. So, I see it every day in this building, in this building, I'm the person that they see on a regular basis. But, if we got, people back here who grew up in these same neighborhoods on these same streets to pour into these young men, like, some of the lives of our teachers and our staff would be a lot simpler. So I think it's super important. Anybody who's listening to this who believe that maybe like their voice shouldn't be heard or their past is kind of in flux, man, we need you.
Yeah.
Like, I work in a high school. This is year 18. We need you. Mm-hmm. The community needs you. So That's what I would say.
Absolutely. All right. So last question I have for you, and I'll let you get rolling. But what do you want people to remember about you when you leave this earth?
Oh man. So I've been thinking so tough about this because just the amount of funerals I've been to here recently. Yeah. My dad, my big brother, Big Lou, and like my word is love. Like, and I say this all the time, man. If I ever told you I loved you, I meant that. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't use the word loosely. I don't just tell people I love them. But I tell a lot of people I love them. And I stand on that. And so like, I just want people to remember, I loved hard. I lived my life. I love my family. I love my community. And at the end of the day, I did things how I was supposed to, how things were supposed to pan out for me and my story. Yeah. And so, I guess the biggest thing is, man, I love my family, and, my family, they all know who they are. And that's far beyond the last name Jones, Fernandez, Styles, Gorns, Willis, my family, Damaris, Jamad, my brother Ed, like my guys, the Gatewoods, like my people, like, man, I love my family. So if I like people that I call family, man, we still in the mud and we getting it. And so I think that's the thing that I would like to say, man, like we got it out the mud, but like we thick as thieves.
Absolutely. Made it, made it through. So thank you so much, man. I know that we are pressed for time, and there's so much more that we could talk about. We are just touching the surface on a lot of things. Thank you all for being a part of this. Do you have any questions for me before we close up shop?
I don't have any, like, no questions, but I do have to make this statement because, again, my family circle is huge, man. And
Yeah.
like, Tacoma's big, but it's not that big. And so one of my basketball players' little sister is missing right now. Her name is Sophia Rowland. We post about it on our page, on our Lady A's basketball page, on my Instagram page. Tacoma, that young lady needs to make it home. That's a 13-year-old child whose mother and older sister and brother are looking for her. And so, like, if anybody knows anything, any leads, please, man, like, get in contact with her mom, the police department. You don't want to be messy, call me. But like, Sophia Rowland needs to be home. And so I think that's my one thing. I know that wasn't part of the interview, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Because it's tough watching, one of your kids struggle and not be able to be a high school student right now because her sister's missing. So that would be it.
Absolutely. Well, again, man, I appreciate you for just sharing your heart and being real about it. Especially that situation. Please, if you guys did not get the information that he is talking about, a young person, 13 years old, that is missing. We'll try and get all the information and put it in the comments so that if you guys hear or see anything, you'll be able to notify the right people. But we got to continue praying up, guys, and taking care of each other. Man, I hope and pray that she comes back, bro. Like, it's really, really sad to hear. And
Definitely.
pray that the family is united together through it all, and praying that she comes home and she comes home safe. So on behalf of the circle, guys, we're going to go ahead and close up shop. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks again, Jamila Jones, for being here. And tomorrow we'll be back. Make sure you guys tune in. We're going to do the Circle Talk Awards at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're going to see some of these amazing people, get their flowers. And I'm excited. Y'all continue to pray for each other, love each other, and have a wonderful rest of your days. All right.